The last time we saw Sam Fisher, he was deciding the fate of about 2,000 people. Set off Emil's bomb on the cruise ship for the sake of his mission and lose trust with the NSA, or disable the bomb and lose trust with the JBA, the domestic terrorist organization he's trying to bring down. Either way, Sam is in hot water with somebody, so try it both ways and see what happens. In any case, the mission continues, and of course, so does the game.
Irving. Big fat Irving. Big sport Irving. The 142nd fastest gun in the West.
The next step is for you to single-handedly take over an entire tanker ship. Good thing for you, it's stuck in an ice floe near Siberia. Even better, it belongs to a gang of mercenary smugglers, so you don't need to feel bad about anything you have to do to them. Your first set of tasks: take out all the mercenaries, disable some explosives they've set to free the ship from the ice, and disable their communications network. After that, someone will drop you a rope so you can get on the ship and subdue the captain. Of course, Emil wants you to kill all the mercenaries, whereas Lambert wants you to keep them alive so the NSA can extract and interrogate some of them. This place is a maze of passages, caverns, and sheets of ice, and naturally the mercenaries and their stuff are scattered from one end to the other and back again. You have to take down 5 radar units and 2 explosives, as well as locate an encryption key for the mercenaries' communications network so the NSA can spy on them. Once that's done, you climb aboard the ship, and now you're supposed to find the captain's cabin and neutralize him. What do his men think about that?
This is not your lucky day.
Kill me if you want. I'll tell you nothing.
I respect your loyalty to your captain.
The captain? You want information about that pig? Why didn't you say so?
Start with what you don't like about him.
He drinks! Like a fish. And then he turns into a raving lunatic.
What's he like when he's not drinking?
He's asleep.
Okay. Lambert has some tasks for you as well, including identifying the ship's cargo. This is easier if you let yourself get captured, because once you pick your handcuffs, there's a crate right in front of you that you can identify for him. These guys are also brilliant enough to leave all your gear right there in front of you and wander off somewhere else while you get loose, so as quick as you're out of the handcuffs, you have all your weapons. And there's extra ammo in the room. These guys are not too bright, which is probably why one guy can steal their ship from them. As with the mercenaries out on the ice, you can kill these guys or knock them out, your choice. Emil wants them dead, Lambert wants them alive. You can do whatever you want. Your trust meter will adjust accordingly at the end of the mission. You can also kill some and leave others alive with the same result. I like to do something different every time I play through the game just to keep it interesting. Here and there around the ship you encounter bad guys to deal with until you finally get to the captain's cabin. You don't actually see him, but you get the impression that guy you talked to wasn't exaggerating.
You, thief! I saw you on the camera. You cannot hide from me. You want my boss, huh? You think you can take her away from me? I do not think so, my friend. Nobody takes my ship away from me. Do you hear? Nobody! She is mine!
Sounds like it's great fun at parties.
I have subtly cheated what I let you have her. There are 4 bombs hidden on board, and I've armed them to go off in 10 minutes. You and I are going to the bottom of the sea together, my clever friend. What do you think about that?
So he's planted bombs on his own ship to keep one guy from taking it. Calling him a raving lunatic was being kind, I think. Fortunately, the bombs are all in the engine room, which isn't too far away. So you get there and discover that not only do you have to defuse the bombs, you have to deal with 3 more guys with guns. And there's no way around this. I tried going to the engine room before I went to the captain and taking out the 3 guys there. Then I went and had this encounter with the captain. Confident in my own cleverness, I bopped on into the engine room and ran into 3 more guys who promptly shot me dead. A new mini-game is the method of defusing bombs. You have to use your EMF goggles to see which wire is hot, Then select it and clip it, and repeat this process with each of the 4 wires. Here's an example. That's the first bomb. As soon as you finish with it, the captain comes on the PA and tells you he's now reset the others to 3 minutes, so you'll never get to them all in time. Well, of course he's eventually wrong, but the sped up clock makes it really interesting. Your map shows you where the other bombs are in the room, and you have plenty of bullets and other gadgets to take care of the guys in here, so thwarting this maniac isn't too awfully hard once you get a rhythm going. Eventually you finish taking over the ship and it's ready to go. Mission complete. Next, you're off to Kinshasa with Emil. He's meeting with a couple of bad characters named Takfir and Masood. Takfir seems to be the one who stole the Red Mercury back during the first mission, and he's selling it to Emil and Masood. Masood reveals that his men are operating the ship you just appropriated, and they'll be taking it into Los Angeles Harbor. There's discussion of the president and a trip he's making to Nashville as well. Sam realizes that these guys are going to nuke 3 places at once, but we aren't told yet what the 3rd location is. Emil doesn't trust his pals, so he wants Fisher to invade their quarters and find out what he can about them and their intentions. Oddly enough, Lambert wants the same thing. The only problem is, Emil didn't tell Sam what he was going to be doing in this hotel, so Sam doesn't have any of his gear. When Sam mentions that, Emil tells him to just keep out of sight. Yeah, right! So you're sneaking through this hotel that's crawling with soldiers, rebels, and who knows what else, all with automatic weapons, and you don't have so much as a pistol to defend yourself. Naturally, Sam can't pick up a gun off one of the bad guys he takes out. That would be cheating. Even worse, you don't have night vision, so most of the time you can't even see these guys. To compound the situation, there's a war going on out in the streets, and constant shelling keeps making the power go off. Just another day for Sam Fisher. Now, of course, it's doable, but there's one complicating factor, especially in the harder modes. This is an Xbox game, and you're probably playing it on a 360 like I did. That basically means you're using an emulator. I don't have a problem with that until it starts to affect how quickly the program responds to the controls. In a level like this, it does get to be a problem. A slight lag between pushing a button and the program's response can get you killed dead, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. This is an ongoing problem with Xbox games on the 360, and I can only see 2 possible solutions. Either buy an Xbox console and see if the response is better, or shut up and live with it. I'll live with it, but I definitely will not shut up. It's my show, so I don't have to. Yeah. So you basically have to take out every bad guy on 2 complete floors of the hotel and search Takfir's and Masood's suites for information about their intentions. One of them is smart enough to keep his sensitive plan documents in a wall safe that you have to hack. The other guy isn't so bright.
Williams sent a memo. Getting very nervous about the mission. Things have to turn around.
You there, boss?
Fisher, do you have news for me?
Good news. Takfir and Masood both seem to be playing it straight.
I want to see you right now.
Each suite also has a computer where you can get information that Lambert wants. Once all that's done, you meet Emil in his suite on the 9th floor. He starts giving a speech about loyalty, speaking in very general terms. When he finally gets to the point, he tells you there's a traitor in Masood's organization. His name is Hisham Hamza. In case you don't remember, he's the guy you were working with in the first mission in Iceland. Emil has now ordered you to kill him. He gives you a bomb to put in Hamza's car, and he's going to want a body. So what do? Lambert thinks it's obvious. You help him escape and worry about providing an explanation to Emil later. Easy for him to say, it's not his neck on the line if Emil gets good and pissed. Emil tells you to take the elevator, which until this point has been out of commission. You go to the elevator, and what's waiting for you there? All your gear. Huh? If it was already in the elevator, why didn't Emil tell him so? How did it get there? Why didn't Sam have it to begin with? Why bother asking so many questions? Just go with it. You'll get fewer headaches that way. Of course, everything in life is a trade-off. You have your gear, but now the exploding shells aren't making the lights go off. If somebody can explain the science behind that to me, I'll kiss my own foot. Oddly enough, you don't have your pistol, which means you don't have your OCP to temporarily disable electrical stuff. But most of the time it's not a problem. So you get past a bunch of battling soldiers and rebels and whatevers until you reach Hamza. Now comes one of your big choices. Help him escape or shoot him. Killing him affects your NSA trust in a big way, obviously. But here's the part I don't get. In the cutscene where Sam meets up with Hamza, they talk about the trail of bodies that the warring factions are leaving around the place, and Sam asks if one of them is about Hamza's size. It's obvious what he has in mind, and assuming you don't kill Hamza, when you get to the parking garage and help him get out, you have the opportunity to take one of the bad guys, stick him in Hamza's car, and blow the whole mess up with the bomb Emil gave you. But when Emil asks if you took care of Hamza, Sam answers no, he went into hiding. But you have a body for Emil. You put it in the car, you set the charge, you detonated it, all so you could carry out the deception and let Emil think you killed Hamza. So why would your only option be to tell Emil he got away? It doesn't make any sense at all. And it doesn't matter if you put a body in the car and blow it up before or after you help Hamza get away. If the game isn't going to acknowledge your little deception, why have you do it? It's a huge mistake. The only way it has any effect at all is if you get Hamza down to the parking lot, kill him there, and put his body in the car and blow it up. Then you get credit for completing that part of the mission. I can't even call this a glitch. It's a story error. If you plant the idea of putting a different body in Hamza's car to fool Emil, you have to give the player a legitimate opportunity to follow up on it. Otherwise, it's just bad programming. And that's something I hate to see in a game that's so good in most every other way. If you decide to kill Hamza, Lambert gives you a nice reaming and heads off to convince Williams that you're still on the side of the good guys. So from there you head to Extraction, where the rebels have an anti-aircraft gun set up that you have to destroy so your chopper can land. Now it's back to JBA headquarters, where Emil is preparing to send the Red Mercury bombs to their ultimate destinations.
The brain was receiving 5 Red Mercury devices. All of them were going to be detonated at the same time. One of them was going to be on the Alcosta tanker to be taken into Los Angeles Harbor. The second was being choppered to Nashville, where the president was making his appearance. The last 3 were for New York City. But first, Emil smuggled the bombs into the States through his headquarters in New Orleans. While I was back there, I managed to sneak into the restricted area again. But I'm sure you remember that.
Back at headquarters, Sam contacts Lambert to give an update and gets a huge shock.
Lambert, I'm back in the restricted area.
Lambert isn't here.
William, what's going on? Where's Lambert?
Lambert's been captured. Dufresne got him a few hours ago.
What? What are you talking about?
Come on, Fisher. He knew he was risking this back when he started posing as Emil's new weapons supplier.
What do I do?
You make a choice. You need Emil to trust you, right? That's the point of this whole operation. To gain his trust so he'll lead you to the Red Mercury. Well, you can seal Emil's trust forever. All you have to do is plant information confirming that Lambert is a government agent. Then everything suspicious in the last few weeks falls on him. Lambert takes the fall, and you're in the clear. Or you could plant information confirming Lambert's cover. That way he might be saved. But it doesn't really help the mission, does it? You and Lambert started this game, Fisher. Now you play it. All the way.
Are you enjoying this, Williams? You wanted us to fail from the beginning.
I want the JBA stopped, Fisher. But when you and Lambert started this crazy operation, I had to watch how it played out.
I really want to find this guy and do unspeakably horrible things to him. This is a big point of departure between the two versions of the game. In the 360 version, they actually want Sam to kill Lambert. He hasn't been doing the arms dealer thing, but they have caught him looking around the place, most likely trying to contact Sam. Jamie gives you a pistol with 1 bullet in it and tells you to kill this trespasser. In this version, you never actually see Lambert. You just make your choice and find out the result after the mission is over. I'm not sure which I prefer. The one time I got that far in the 360 version, I was in the room with Lambert and the pistol, and Jamie was watching and telling me to kill Lambert. I killed Jamie instead. Naturally, there was a security camera in the room, and as soon as I did that, the order went out to kill Sam Fisher on sight. I don't know what happens if you actually shoot Lambert, and considering how horrible that game is, I don't care enough to go back and find out. The stuff you need to access is in an old bomb shelter under the compound, so the first task is to get there. This requires walking through a couple of doors. Yes, that's it. Once you do, you get objective complete. Wow, that was tough. Are the rest of the objectives that difficult? Not far into the bunker, you find the computer where you have to decide Lambert's fate.
Lambert or the mission. If I confirm Lambert's cover, Emil might set him free. But then he'll still wonder who the mole is. If I let him know Lambert is a federal agent, Emil will kill him. But he'll be satisfied. The mission can continue. I don't know anymore. I just don't.
The rest of the objectives are pretty straightforward, but at least one of them is confusing too. In one of the rooms that you infiltrate, you find a computer you can check out. It includes an option that says something along the lines of "Send message to Emil's men." What's the message? It doesn't tell you. But if you go ahead and do it, you've screwed yourself for a later part of the mission. Why? Because if you bypass that and go straight to the lab in Emil's office, you have an opportunity to defuse the LA and Nashville bombs. They're on opposite sides of the compound and you have 8 minutes to do it, but it's doable. I know because I've done it. Now, here's the weirdness. You can choose to defuse them, or you can choose to prevent them from being defused. That's what that message to Emil's men is. It somehow cuts off any chance to defuse the bombs. If you take it, then the final cutscene shows massive devastation with news reports about the destruction of Los Angeles and Nashville and the apparent death of the president. But the goofy thing is, if you access that computer early on and send the message, even though you don't know what it is, you never get the chance to even try and defuse the bombs. Again, I don't get it. It's another case of poor programming, because if that's what the message is, well, first of all, it shouldn't even be available anywhere until Williams tells you to defuse the bombs. And second, it should actually say what it's about. But at the point where you first come across the computer, preventing the bombs being defused isn't even part of your objective set. So the game throws you a major curve here. If you send that message, you mess up a later part of the game. If you don't, you have the option later on to come back and make a deliberate choice. But how are you supposed to know that? It gets worse. During this second mission inside the headquarters, even though you adjusted those circuit breakers a long time ago, your night vision is still twitchy, so it's barely useful, if it's useful at all. The funny thing is, thermal and EMF vision work just fine. It only affects the goggles you use the most. Thanks a bunch. So you go around knocking guys out, either by grabbing them or using the rubber bullets you've been supplied with. You get the list from a cabinet in Emil's office and sample the red mercury. Then you either do or don't defuse the 2 bombs. Most of this is basic Splinter Cell stuff, and it's fun except for these glaring errors. It's more fun if you give yourself a chance to defuse the bombs, because it makes the level longer and more challenging. But try it both ways. That's what the save command is for. Once all that's done, you're headed for the final mission, stopping Emil from detonating the 3 bombs in New York City.
New York City!
This is where it all pays off. All the boys, all the sacrifices. It ends here, and we couldn't have done it without you, Fisher.
Don't thank me yet.
What? Hell of damnation! What's going on? It seems Mr. Simon was right. Our Mr. Fisher is a traitor and a spy. And for that, he died. Kill Fisher on sight!
Who blew his cover? We never find out. but it's enough that he's now a target for every last member of the JBA that he just jumped out of that plane with. He contacts Williams for direction, but doesn't like what he gets.
Williams, my cover's blown. Emil's instructed his men to kill on sight.
Okay, Fisher. Plan B. Cleanup mission. Take them out, every single one of them. The main JBA members are top priority. The others only if the opportunity presents itself. I'm sending other units, but they may not arrive in time. The Red Mercury devices must be recovered. Hurry, you understand?
I'll take care of it.
Leave no one standing, including Enrica Villablanca.
Leave her out of this, Williams. She doesn't deserve this.
You have your orders. Either do your job, or I'll have someone else do it.
Your first targets are Sykes and your old friend Jamie Washington. Jamie can't believe you're a spy right up to the moment that you kill him. I never did really figure out what Jamie's role in the organization was. Maybe his job was to be the doofus that you can blame everything on. As far as I can see, he was never much good for anything else. You take a zip line to the next building where you find help from a somewhat unexpected source.
Where are you going, Sam?
Wherever Emil is. You know what I have to do.
He wants me to shoot you. I don't think I'm going to do that.
So what are you going to do?
No, Sam. The question is, when all this is over, what are we going to do?
When I figure it out, I'll tell you.
I have to go or Emil gets suspicious. His team is on the roof. Moss is on the 68th floor. Good luck, Sam.
Enrica.
Moss and his men are guarding the next bomb. Jamie was kind of pathetic and Sykes was just sort of there. But this guy, I'm going to enjoy killing. No way it's that simple, of course. Life is about to get a lot more interesting because Moss and his boys have night vision. It's easy to forget that and find yourself in a situation when you think you're completely hidden. Being in more light is actually better now because it messes up their night vision goggles. But it's also to your advantage to move fast. Moss's guys are spread pretty thin, so most of the time you encounter them in groups of 2 or 3. You have to get creative to reach Moss himself, and when you do, it's really satisfying. Defusing his bomb is the same as the other bombs in the game, snipping wires and all that. Next, you have to blow a hole in a wall and use catwalks and stuff to get to the roof where the last bomb is. Take a wild guess who's guarding it. I'll give you a hint. His name starts with A and ends with Meal. He has his own gaggle of goons, of course, but getting past them is basic Splinter Cell play. Then you reach Emil and the bomb and find yourself with a problem.
Do not move unless I tell you to do so. The next one kills. I want you to very slowly toss your pistol aside. Good. Now tell me, what have you done with the rest of my men?
Go check. I'll wait here.
Have you killed them then? Men who worked with you? Trusted you?
Spare me the disappointed father lecture, Emil. From the beginning, you were nothing more than targets.
And what does that make you? A soldier? A pawn? It doesn't matter. Goodbye, Mr. Fisher. Whoa!
So here you are. No gun, no way to move, and Emil has an endless supply of ammo to shoot at you. What are you gonna do? I guess I'll just sit here and cry a while. No, wait, that won't work. I saw one online walkthrough that did some fancy tumbling and dodging past the lasers, which will kill you if they touch you, by the way. But I prefer a simple solution. Along the way, if you were paying attention, you acquired some flashbangs and at least one frag grenade. If you place the grenade well, you can take Emil out very easily. After Emil is dead, you can make your way around to where you can hack the computer controlling the lasers and turn them off. Then you disarm the bomb the usual way. If you don't want to know the tragic twist ending, plug your ears now. Spoiler begins in 5, 4, 3. As you finish defusing the bomb, Enrica appears. Sam yells at her to get inside, just as another Splinter Cell agent shows up and shoots her in the back. She dies in Sam's arms and he goes nuts. He kills the other agent, cuts out his cochlear implant, and tells Williams, "You will pay." I would not want a guy like Sam Fisher telling me that. The game ends with Sam telling Williams, "Catch me if you can." This game has some problems, but they're nothing like the 360 version's problems. As one review I read put it, that game has experimental written all over it. Guess what, Shanghai? The experiment was an abysmal failure. If the folks who run Ubisoft were as smart as they're reputed to be, they would redo this one for the 360 and re-release it. In the process, they could probably fix most of the problems I've described, but that ain't gonna happen. The next game, Conviction, has already been released, and so far it's been pretty well received. So we'll have to chalk this one up to thank God they didn't do that again, and go on from there. It's not the best of the Splinter Cell games, but it holds its own and has good replay value. Get it for your Xbox, GameCube, or PS2, and enjoy it again and again. I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you.
Well, finally, Irving.
These guys are also brilliant enough to...
Yeah. They're more brilliant than you are.
That's true.
He was sitting there.
A new mini-game is the method of defusing bombs. You have to get Bobs.
Bob's.
Defusing Bobs. Yeah, you got to watch out for those guys named Bob.
Never!
Are we rolling?
Yes!
42nd fastest gun in the West.